Welcome to another round of camera comparisons, X100 Ultra versus X200 Pro from Vivo. This time around we want to check out if the new X100 Ultra update is really improving the telezoom camera so much, also with the AI algorithm, that we can get it to the same score as the X200 Pro. So let's get started. So we start off with the video performance here on the X200 Pro as a reference, and this is 1x. Of course, I'm just showing you that I'm walking Timmy again here on the leash, and we are going this way, and I want to show you at this spot here roughly how it looks like with the zoom. 3.7x there, 10x zoom, up to 20x zoom. So what do you think about the quality here and stabilization? And we can, Timmy stabilization test, go back to 1x. Now let's compare it with the X100 Ultra. So same walkway, pathway. Timmy is doing his business there, as you see. Yeah, we are walking here with the 1x on the X100 Ultra, going to the same spot there because where we want to go is here. And yeah, same spot here. There we go. Let's try to zoom in, Timmy. Let's try to zoom in to 3.7x. This is 3.7x there. Switch lenses, 10x. And then we can go up to 20x. And on screen it looks at least a little bit more stable. So what do you think here in terms of video performance? Do we see much of a difference there between those two? Here we have the photos. On the left over the X200 Pro, on the right over the X100 Ultra. We start off with portrait shots because there has been also something in terms of portraits. 135mm has been added to the X100 Ultra, so they are on the same level as on the X200 Pro. Let's check them out side by side. Before I zoom in to 100%, you can see already that there's much more contrast added to the X200 Pro, and the X100 Ultra has less contrast. So you can see it in the eyebrow and also my eye. When I zoom in, you can see the X100 Ultra, yeah, and the X200 Pro, lot more edited, looking like more, yeah, less natural looking on the X200 Pro with this more added contrast there. I think also that there's a little bit more of like sharpening and recreation of eyebrows, where it looking much more natural on the X100 Ultra. Also my eye color much more natural than the too darkish eye color that we see on the X200 Pro. So in general, as you can see, also the cutouts I think are pretty nice on both. There's a slight mistake there on the X100 Ultra that it did there. But the rest, like also the colors here, are pretty consistent with each other. It's not much of a difference between those two when it comes to the rest of the shots. And yeah, previously we only had the 100mm one on the X100 Ultra, and this one still looks superior to the 135mm one, I think, but gladly they added this option there as well. Let's check out the outdoors shot, and here we go first of all with the 10x shot. The same one that I used for the video. In video I didn't see much of a difference there besides the stabilization issue. I think the X100 Ultra was a slightly bit less stable, even though on screen it looked more stable, and the other way around on the X200 Pro, but it might be the error, user error as well. The only thing that I see here is a bit more contrast again on the X200 Pro, a bit less contrast on the X100 Ultra at 100%. In terms of detail level, it's on par, not much of a difference there between those two. When I zoom in a little bit further, this is 690, which is like, you can see it here, 690 divided by 23, 30 times. It's a bit over 30 times on the X100 Ultra, but I can confirm after I took several other shots that this is the case. You can see here when I zoom in, it has a bit of this artificial look. When I zoom in here on the X100 Ultra, it looks not so artificial. Why is that the case? Why does it not look so artificial? Because there's a lot of sharpening applied here on the X200 Pro. You can see the white outline there. That is also there, but not so drastic on the X100 Ultra. And the other thing is that there's a lot more contrast added towards, like here, look at this, compare it there. So there's little nuances and differences that you see there, also in white balance, slightly a bit more warmer here on the X100 Ultra, make the X100 Ultra more pleasing to the eye, for me at least. Just look at this here and compare it with this. The left one looks much more unnatural, much more edited, much more recreated with your eye than the right one, I would say. And this you can see throughout all the shots. Macro shots are quite interesting because some people ask me about the macro differences. Yes, with the X200 Pro you have to step a little bit further away to get the shot, but what I noticed is also the X200 Pro gets sometimes more in focus, like this flower for example. You can see here very nice detail level on the pollen of the flower. Is even visible there, and it's super hard to do it on the X100 Ultra. I can get a bit closer on the X100 Ultra, but then you can see there's only part of it here in front which is in focus, and the rest is like already going out of in oblivion, out of focus already. So I think the adjustments for the stepping a bit back on the X200 Pro and the lenses that they did there might sometimes help the X100 Pro with getting nice detailed shots there. Otherwise, you can see here again a little bit more unnatural looking on the X200 Pro. It looks a bit sharper on first glance, but it is just the artificial sharpening that is in general a bit stronger there on the X200 Pro in contrast to the X100 Ultra, and also the more contrasty look there. And then another shot that I tried to photograph the ice that was still there on the ground, because I think it was it was frozen there, was this night, but it's an attempt. You can see again here it's a much softer, even though the same focus point, much softer there on the X100 Ultra in comparison to the X200 Pro. And then we have another shot here of this, which is quite interesting. We had this shot before as well, 10 times zoom in this dark lit tunnel basically where I photograph, and the X100 Pro kicks in the night mode. So you have like a little waiting second, I think 1.5 seconds waiting time, where the X100 Ultra just takes the shot without any waiting second. Even though you can see like the difference is not so huge, it's 1/14 of a second and 1/17 of a second. Also the ISO is almost the same. There's a huge difference, much more contrasty look, much more processed look when I zoom in, you can see, and much more natural look, but a little bit less sharp, a less detailed look there on the X100 Ultra. So this didn't change also with the new algorithms there. And you can see it also in the background there, which one looks a bit more appealing, which one looks a little bit more sharpened up and artificial. Yes, for everyone who's saying, yeah, the X100 Ultra after original S5 is like getting less good looking, and it's like almost the over-processed look as on the X200 Pro, even with the new update. Nope, I don't see that. Ultra wide angle, just to get a bit of like spice in there as well, just to show you the differences again. I have this nice little shot, I had to take it 50mm against 40mm, a bit wider on the Ultra, where the Pro has a little bit more contrast again. When I zoom in here 100%, you can see that more contrast, a bit more punchy colors on the Pro, or the Ultra, a bit more realistic colors, less punch and less contrasty look there. Both very, very good in terms of HDR performance there. And this is a shot with the 3.7x on both, just to show you again a difference here in terms of processing, because we have like here a little bit softer the whole thing, here a bit over sharpened again, a bit more contrasty look that sometimes can be looking more appealing and more sharpened up on the X200 Pro. I think this shot looks a bit more detailed on the X200 Pro in comparison to the Ultra if you compare it. Also when I zoom in on the moon, you can also see that the moon looks a bit crisper. Colors, however, are leaning towards the X100 Ultra, because the blue of the sky is exactly how I saw it with my eyes, and this is a bit too punchy blue. And then another shot here, 10x, and the same thing, a bit too punchy up colors. You can see the yellow of the sun here hitting the walls is a bit too warm, where it's more realistic and much more, how I saw it with my eyes on the Ultra. Also, when you take a look at the stones here, a lot more artificially looking on the 200 Pro, where it's a bit softer, but also a bit more realistic looking on the 100 Ultra. And then another shot just with the main sensor, just to show you the differences of the sensor size and HDR handling. Here, this is the 200 Pro, and this is the 100 Ultra. Noise, both struggle a little bit there with this. It's hard to focus and to do the shots there, and I don't want to pixel peep and compare them further. Let's go into zoom shots here, also showing you again the difference in terms of sharpness, and this is why I cannot understand that people saying, it looks too artificial now on the 100 Ultra. If you compare it with the 200 Pro, The 200 Pro is still more sharpened up and has still more sharpening applied here. 345 versus 300 millimeters. This is what happens when you tap the 10x button again. The 200 Pro jumps to 345, the 100 Ultra to 300. But this is how it looks like here on this one. This is how it looks like here. You can see, yes, both apply sharpness and sharpening, but it is much more sharpening applied on the 200 Pro than on the 100 Ultra. And this is just one example that you can see. This is now very high shots, 60 times shots on both, which can also demonstrate you again the differences in terms of processing. Much more sharpening, much more contrast applied on the 200 Pro. It's the same kind of thing. You can see it here with everything on the sign here, and the text. Look out, the outline here is completely white. Here it's also a little bit, also struggles a little bit with the colors here and there, you can see. And this is recreating the colors more. But yeah, which one would you choose? It's more edited looking definitely on the 200 Pro, and it's maybe a bit more realistic looking on the, if you can say realistic looking at 60 times, on the 100 Ultra. But when you zoom out, both are doing a fantastic job. It's 60 times zoom on this sign, and you can read everything there. You can almost make out what this is about here, which is a little sticker that is put on top, which is like insane for this camera performance there. And also here, take a look at this, what it struggles a little bit recreating it. You can see, like, yeah, here also how artificial is looking like there, and how it recreates these things. It's like lines here, where here it's a bit softer. So yes, I think still that even with AI processing turned on the Ultra tries to keep it a bit more realistic than the 200 Pro is doing with its more aggressive kind of processing here. And that's it in terms of like the comparison here. What do you think about those two here? I think I made it clear now the differences between those two, and I think it also makes it clear that the 100 Ultra now deserves the same points in terms of like zoom level details as the 200 Pro. Because we have now basically both on par. I would even go so far that my personal preference is more towards the 100 Ultra, that is doing the AI processing, but doing it in a right way. Means like not overcooking the image, just like the X200 Pro is doing sometimes, where it looks a little bit more too artificial. Look at this wall here, for example, compare it with this wall. There is a difference between those, and it's looking a little bit more artificial on the 200 Pro versus the Ultra. If you have some questions or some comments, put them in the comment section. This is everything. Until the next time, bye.